So if I'm a new investor and I'm interested in lending my money, do I just use my money out of my regular bank account?
So you absolutely can. That is one great way to get started. If you have an extra chunk of change, I know I've shared before that one of the things that we did when we moved to Utah was we bought our first house. And when we moved away, we sold our house. And then we had a very sizable chunk of change sitting in our bank account that whole time because we were waiting to invest in real estate, which took another 18 months. Had I known about real estate lending, that would have been the perfect opportunity, right? Because I didn't need it in 6 months. I had 18 months plus of time when I needed the money to be utilized. That'd be the perfect time to lend that money from my bank account. However, most people don't have that large chunk of change just sitting in their bank account. It's probably allocated for your emergency fund or other things. And I would not recommend investing that money in a real estate deal because you never know if it's something that you're going to need emergently. And that's not a good way to invest or do any sort of real estate lending. So instead, you can look at alternative options. So my favorite thing that you and I have both done is actually roll over our old employer's 401k plans into a self directed account. And what that allows us to do is, first off, it gives us so much more control because if you looked at those old employer 401ks, I had about 10 different investment opportunities I could choose from to invest in the stock market. So it was a couple of things that were like targeted age fund or something like that. I could invest in like gold. I can do like a total market account. I could invest in Asia. I could do large cap stocks and small cap stocks. And that was like it. I couldn't pick an individual company. I couldn't do any crypto. There's just very limited options, right? That in there. And so instead, when we rolled over our old employer's 401k accounts, you get so much more control. So you could do any of those things I just mentioned, but you also can do real estate and lending and investing as well. So we have both decided to do real estate lending with our old employer 401ks. And that actually gave us an access to a lot more money than we would have if I had just looked in my checking account, because that was about 6 years of contributing to my 401k religiously every single month. And then that money was just sitting there kind of in one of those investments that I mentioned before. And now it's able to be out in real estate lending deals. And I'm really excited about that.
So are there any other additional benefits of using a self-directed retirement account, whether 401k or IRA, instead of my regular money in my regular account?
Yeah, so one of the really cool benefits of using a self directed account is that you're not taxed on that money as you're building it. So it is tax protected. It's likely going to be tax deferred. It's not completely like tax free unless it's a Roth sort of situation. But in this instance, there is protections from having to pay taxes while you're growing that money. And that makes it really nice because that money can grow a lot faster rather than having to pay out the taxes every single time going forward.